The Republican Party primary to decide who will run against Joe Biden in the 2024 election has been a real mixed bag, thanks largely to the fact that Donald Trump is almost certainly going to secure that nomination. For pretty much the entire time, he has polled better than all of the other nominees combined.
Yeah.
So it's understandable that he hasn't even bothered to show up for the debates.
Why even do it?
And yeah, that's made the debates pretty goddamn boring, aside from a few brief highlights.
Donald Duck.
Yeah, mostly just cringe. It's just not that fun watching a dozen losers yell over each other about how good they'd be at a job that none of them will be getting.
What has been entertaining, though, is watching the career aspirations of one Ronald DeSantis absolutely crash and burn following what was, in hindsight, a very brief moment when it seemed like he actually had a shot at running anything outside Florida. Even before he declared that he was running, Trump endlessly talked shit about him publicly, putting DeSanctimonious in a position where he just sort of has to take the abuse, because firing back too hard would alienate the Republican voter base, who still loves Trump. And then when he did announce his candidacy, it was done in collaboration with Elon Musk and his minions, and therefore it was a complete fucking disaster. An audio live stream that was roughly 10% stump speech and 90% troubleshooting.
Yeah, it was real bad.
Yeah.
In the months since then, DeSantis has had to spend a lot more time on camera, around normal people, and talking. And he's bad at all of those things. And his presence is genuinely off-putting. He's like an alien wearing a human skin suit trying to run for president.
He's that guy in Men in Black. That's how it feels looking and listening to him.
Edgar had more charm than Ron DeSantis.
That's why Ron DeSantis is so opposed to sugar, because he knows that he will be addicted immediately.
Sugar, water.
I need sugar water.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis' behavior has that unmistakable quality that we see in pretty much every presidential primary of a person going out of their way to seem presidential and it not coming off as very genuine. This was most obvious in the ways that he adopted several of Donald Trump's mannerisms in the lead up to declaring his candidacy. But something slightly less obvious, at least until you notice it and then can not unsee it, is that Ron DeSantis is exaggerating his height by wearing high heels. Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. And, even I was like, all right, out of all the things that this guy can make headlines for over the past 6 months, maybe it's better to focus on some of the more evil, fascist kind of ideology that he's promoting. And I was like, well, they're cowboy boots. Maybe he's not hiding anything. He's had to make a lot of public appearances recently.
Something is going on in those legs.
And something's going on in those boots, and it is not toes.
No.
It's clear that there is something missing.
Yeah, this is like a year one art student anatomy. There is something off.
DeSantis' official height is somewhat elusive, but based on photos of him over the years, he is generally believed to stand around 5'9", the average height for U.S. males. And that would, however, it would make him shorter than every president since Jimmy Carter, and it would put him at a full 6 inches shorter than Donald Trump's official height. Though there, of course, have been many doubts about the accuracy of that figure as well. He might have lifts, too, with the way he leans.
Yeah.
He's leaning constantly, so...
It's an arms race, or I guess it's a foot's race.
In any case, Ron is smaller than Don, and evidence has been mounting over the past year that DeSantis may be using some tricks to make himself seem taller than he really is in order to bridge that height gap. Look, we go back to the thing we talked about earlier this week. The way to make yourself seem taller is to hold up a fish for scale.
Yeah.
And then you reduce or grow the size of the fish to make you seem taller in comparison.
Or you hire only staffers who are like much shorter than you.
Yes.
So you tower above them.
Ron's problem was dating and then marrying someone who appears to be taller than him in many scenarios.
She's wearing heels too. And it's okay because she's a woman, I guess. So the second Ron starts wearing heels, then it's a problem.
Well, that's him doing a little gender-affirming care.
I guess so. But yeah, for starters, and this is undeniable, Ron DeSantis pretty much exclusively wears cowboy boots, which they add height, around an inch, maybe half an inch, maybe 2 inches, but they add height. Yeah. You can't deny it.
It is kind of weird to see him in cowboy boots, considering no cowboys in Florida historically.
Yeah, he has adopted a lot of mannerisms of like a...
Texas Republican governor.
Southwest, Southern type guy, and no, you're the governor of Florida.
I think the funniest thing about like appropriating cowboy culture is that like a lot of it, Colorado. Many people don't think about liberal Colorado and all of their cowboys.
Well, even California.
Yeah.
Like, you go outside of the cities, you go, like, everything you know about California is the western sliver of the state. If you go on the eastern sliver,
It's all cowboys,
it
baby.
is all cowboys. Outside of, like, a tiny chunk on the east, the only place where, like, any notable country music came out in, like, the mid-20th century was fucking, like, Fresno, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't associate that with liberal California.
No.
Anyway, yeah, so it is pretty funny that the type of footwear generally seen as the most rugged and masculine also serves to deceptively increase the wearer's height. But if it was just cowboy boots, this wouldn't have developed into a full-blown conspiracy theory, which I believe completely. Yeah. No, it goes beyond cowboy boots. And no, we're not talking about limb lengthening surgery, though we would imagine that if time weren't of the essence, and Ron could go hide away for a year before re-emerging to run for president, he would absolutely have a doctor shatter his bones and install lengthening rods in them. Maybe get a prescription for some of that HGH.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds, baby.
Yeah, but no, instead, the theory goes that Ron DeSantis is stuffing his boots with insoles that further increase his height, which, combined with the boots, adds several inches to his height, but with the side effect of making his legs and feet look really, really fucking weird the more you stare at them. And in different scenarios, in different photos and appearances, there's varying degrees of the front of the boot being filled or not filled.
There's something going. He's got, like, you know how, like, a lot of animals have, like, the backwards legs?
Yeah.
Kind of got that. Yeah, he's kind of got that going.
As humans, we have a natural understanding of the proper proportions of our bones, and seeing someone whose fibulas look slightly longer than their femurs due to walking on their tippy toes inside of a big pair of boots, it triggers the same subconscious reaction as bad CGI. I'm getting some Uncanny Valley vibes from Ron DeSantis' legs and feet. So on top of that, we all have a similar subconscious understanding of what it looks like when someone's boot is too big for their goddamn feet.
Yeah. You can just tell. There's not, a foot is not sitting naturally in that boot. Yeah. The foot is doing something else.
A little BTS behind the scenes for everyone watching. I was editing News Dump, and I started seeing this conspiracy go around. It was like the first time I believed it because people were doing artist renditions.
Yes.
I sent it to Elliot, and he hit me with the boot too big for his goddamn feet, and I sat there and laughed for a good 5 minutes.
It's true,
I chuckled and chuckled.
If his foot is sitting in that boot the way it should be, where's his toes? Where's the toes?
Yeah, it is strange.
He looks
they are
like,
folding over on themselves.
This is like when you're a little boy and you put on your dad's boots.
Yes, if you walked up to him and grabbed the front, you could just curl it over.
Yeah, they're like jester's boots.
Yeah, he's got those the Mexican boots that come all the way up.
Oh yeah, the weird like cartel.
The ones that curl up.
Yeah, just the most impractical thing ever.
Well,
anyways, this theory has been around for a while, but it was recently reignited thanks to DeSantis' appearance on Real Time with Scabby the Scab. Sorry, Real Time with Bill Maher. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, it spawned some alarming but very believable visual theories on what exactly Ron's feet are doing in those boots. There's definitely something going on in those boots. And this week, Chris Thompson of Defector published a deep dive into what could possibly be happening here, which we will read from now.
Here's an image of DeSantis walking across a stage. You cannot miss the weirdness of the back foot in this one. What is going on there? To fully appreciate the weirdness of this leg position, I invite you to stand up and take one full stride forward with your left leg, shifting your weight forward until it is forward of your back leg. Where is your back heel? It is lifted off the ground. Now press your back heel to the floor. Feel that sweet calf stretch? Feels good. Unfortunately, this is not how normal human walking works. Something strange is happening inside that boot. It's as if DeSantis has the legs of a wren.
He's part bird.
Yes, he has evolved from the birds, much like a dinosaur.
Got bird legs.
Yeah.
The article then features several photos of Ron DeSantis walking on stage at an event this summer in which the proportions of his legs look like something created by a bad AI image generator, one from like a year ago.
His knees are positioned where the thighs of his pants are.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Thompson writes, "You cannot miss the weirdness of whatever is going on below DeSantis' knees. There are simply more angles than are allowed in an anatomically standard human leg. But this also brings us to the matter of bone length. I am informed by the National Institutes of Health that the femur is the longest bone in the human body." I am further informed by the Cleveland Clinic that the average human femur is 18 inches, a solid 4 inches longer than the second longest bone in the human body, which is the fibula. What is going on here?
Well, you see, Ron measures the femur from the butthole. So he gets a
Well, I got a perfectly normal femur.
It starts way back here.
Yeah.
So he continues. Next, there is the matter of DeSantis' shoes, always appearing exaggeratingly curled in the toes, in the style of a jester. Put a little bell on the end of these guys, and you've got yourself a shoe fit for a Christmas elf. For each of these next few images, ask yourself, where are DeSantis' toes in this image? And how did they get there? Truly, where are DeSantis' right toes in this next image? They cannot possibly be inside the toe of the boot, right? Not unless his toes are very thin and flat, and as long as his fingers, like pale-colored, lightly smushed breakfast sausage links. I do not like to think about that. Doesn't this seem like a much likelier way to interpret what is going on inside of those alarmingly misshapen shoes?
Yeah, I'm sold. He is, and I looked on Amazon, like what products are available for this, and they sell some fucking wild. They sell lifts that are like this much that goes inside the shoe. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm almost curious. They're only like $12. I think I kind of want to buy them and just like try them out.
Yeah. Demo them, Elliot. Yeah, sure.
I mean, everyone would be able to know.
Yeah, you'd immediately be like as tall as me.
Every episode has hundreds of thousands of visual references for my height. I wouldn't be able to fool anyone.
You should get the leg surgery and come back immediately taller than me.
It would just be funny. And I also want to see how hard it would be to walk in them, because that's the big thing is like, and that's another piece of evidence here is Ron DeSantis walks really weird. He walks like a person wearing high heels.
And a person who looks like he's in kind of a little bit of pain.
Yeah, it would not be comfortable.
No.
I mean...
Women do it.
Yeah,
they get used to it if they do it.
But it's
sometimes.
Still, there's a reason women
it's painful
relish that moment where they can take the fucking heel off.
It's painful and sometimes destructive to the foot.
Yeah, it's not good.
Not natural.
And also, like, why are you trying to be tall? Why are you trying to cut men down by making yourselves tall?
Well, even in his reported height, which he says is 5'9", according to a man who has never told a lie, Donald Trump, or Donald Duck as some people are calling him now.
You start calling him Donald Duck.
Trump maintains that DeSantis is actually 5'7".
Wait, he
yes.
said that?
Yeah.
I fucking... everything's so stupid.
Tiny Ron.
Has Trump commented on the lifts theory?
He's a little bit busy right now, but I'm sure he'll get around to it over this weekend.
Someone needs to show Donald Trump that picture of the outline of the
foot. Yeah, I already know he was short. I've been riding him about it for months, and I'm glad to see everyone else come around.
Anyways, look, these are just theories.
Yeah.
Maybe Ron DeSantis just does, in fact, have a really fucked up anatomy with, like, extra long fibulas and maybe child-sized feet, maybe just really flat feet where, like, the toes are, like, paper thin. Finger-sized toes.
I enjoyed my time in the military, but they wouldn't let me serve any further because of my foot
weird
issue.
8 feet.
Yeah, I kept falling down on the battlefield.
I mean, look, human genetics are capable of tremendous variety. Mm-hmm. It's impossible to know unless he shows feet, which is something the presidential candidates are famously careful to avoid. Mm-hmm. But the time is now. The American people demand a shoeless debate.
Yeah.
And not for any sexual reasons. We just deserve to know the truth.
There's got to be...
Take off them shoes!
There's got to be those, like, foot rating websites with everyone who does, like, detective work on finding photos of people's feet about Ron DeSantis.
There's no Ron DeSantis feet pics.
He's from Florida. He's got to be on the beach at some point.
He goes to the beach and he wears those giant white galoshes, even out on the beach. It's a little strange.
I haven't looked it up, but I would guess that if there are photos of him on the beach, that his toes and feet are dug into the sand to avoid this kind of thing.
Interesting. What are you hiding, Ron?
Yeah.
What's going on down there? But yeah, we need the shoeless debate. Shoeless Joe Jackson debate.
Yeah,
the shoeless Joe Jackson memorial debate.
All of the podiums, they're cut off. They have glass bottoms, so you can see all of the candidates' feet.
Yeah, and there's camera down there, too.
Yes. Chris Christie, beautiful feet, just like Fred Flintstone.
But yeah, without that, I mean, otherwise the American people might make the mistake of electing a guy who is vehemently against drag queens while secretly and very hypocritically wearing high heels himself. Mm-hmm. Though, let's be real, they won't do that. Just look at the damn polls. The man's cooked.
Yeah, he's just going through the motions until it's less embarrassing for him to back out.
He's just debasing himself for no reason at all. Just because, at this point, it would look worse if he backed down because he literally said he wouldn't back down.
Yeah. Well, and standard cowboy boots, they have that little lift because that's where your foot goes for riding the horse.
Yeah.
It's where the thing slips in so you can like kind of be locked into it.
Have we seen Ron DeSantis ride a horse?
He's probably done that. That's like one of those fake masculine things where it's like, look, anyone can fucking ride a horse. It's really not that hard. It's just the availability, cost.
Anyone can ride a horse. The real job is breaking a horse.
Yeah, we need to see Ron DeSantis. All the candidates need to break a horse.
Yeah, they take a wild stallion and put them in the ring with the candidate, and they have 20 minutes to break that horse.
But it's one of those things. It's like this. You're a tall, commanding, whatever. It's like a fake way to prove masculinity by just sitting on something.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm a man. I'm on a horse. Okay. Cool. I
mean,
guess.
it is cool. Horses
are cool, yeah.
I like horses. I wish I lived somewhere where I could have one.
You live in California where they are around in abundance. We've just talked about
There are a lot of weird, like, random neighborhoods in LA that are, like, horse-zoned.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into this too much.
Burbank has one.
Yeah.
Compton. The Compton Cowboys.
Yeah, Compton is, like, one of the biggest horse towns in America.
Compton Cowboys, baby.
From some, like, old, like, rules from way back before LA was, like, a metropolis. And, yeah, Compton's got cowboys.
There was a video that went viral this week of some guy pestering people for riding their horses near the Hollywood sign.
Up in the hills?
Yeah.
It's easier to get around on a fucking horse than a car up there.
There you go.
If don't drive in the Hollywood Hills. Especially not on a bus. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, great drivers. Respect those drivers.
I guess so.
Now, meanwhile, though, the guy who is actually leading in the polls recently did something very unusual, which we somehow didn't talk about this past week because there was a lot going on. We were catching up with a bunch of stuff, but Donald Trump said some bad words.
Some naughty words.
It is weird that this would be so jarring considering his general crass demeanor, but Trump generally talks shit in a pretty PG way without ever really cursing, especially not the F word. But here we are, and here he is.
What they've done is they've gone after opponents so that if you become president or some other job, but if you become president and you don't like somebody, or if somebody's beating you by 10, 15, or 20 points like we're doing with crooked Joe Biden, let's indict the motherfucker. Let's indict him.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty weird.
Seems like he's upset.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be that, like, jarring to see Donald Trump say that word, but it was.
It's as shocking as when Mike Lindell swore as well.
Yeah!
Asshole!
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, you can tell that it comes from this deep, visceral place.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's been brewing for a while and finally made its way out.
And yeah, like with Trump, you can almost hear him realizing, like, too late, like while he's saying it, realizing that what he's doing and trying to tap the brakes, but it causes him. This is a funny like little tick that I think everyone has, where when you catch yourself saying something you shouldn't be saying, you start doing a voice. And instead of saying, impeach the motherfucker, he says, impeach the motherfucker. He throws
I'm doing a little character. That's not what I would say.
He throws like some jive on it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Impeach the motherfucker.
There was a debate going around a little while back about Americans who slip in and out of British accents.
Yeah, it was the same thing. It was like
they use that as a way to like
stuff you're not like comfortable, stuff that you've
got to get the feelings out, but you don't feel comfortable saying it in your normal speaking voice.
Yeah.
So you create a character
it's
to
like your
express
id.
the demons.
Your id is expressing itself through a different voice.
And Americans' ids are British people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, very weird, funny pronunciation of the word motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
And yeah, I mean, despite the audience absolutely loving it, clapping like seals, there is a look on his face that possibly conveys the instant regret of saying something out loud that you were planning on keeping to yourself. I don't know. We're not body language experts, but it's a very interesting clip to go through just frame by frame. What's going on here?
It's hours after.
Because he doesn't say that word. It's weird that he says it.
Yeah.
I mean, we forget, because one of the most famous quotes of his is him saying on a hot mic that the word pussy.
Yeah.
But
that was behind the scenes that he didn't
he didn't. But like in public, he does not swear.
No. I would probably assume that in the era that he grew up, his dad probably beat the fuck out of him every time he swore. Because there's a lot of bad shit you can do as a man back then. that is totally acceptable or was totally acceptable.
Especially as
but
like a high-class New York society.
But swearing was absolutely not one of
Yeah.
those things. So he probably got beat quite frequently.
Yeah.
So it's like this weird thing that is left over from it. But yeah, regardless, it was weird to hear him say it.
But yeah, given the crowd's positive reaction, maybe we can look forward to some more potty mouth Donnie as the campaign continues. Maybe new ability unlocked.
Yeah, just like when he goes, I'll say it. I'll say it.
The N-word! Nuclear. I'm talking about nuclear. What did you guys think I was saying?
Yeah, he's going to do that now where he has to get the crowd has to be overhyped to hear him say
I'm going to say it.
the F word.
Motherfucker!
The MF word. Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Trump is swearing now. This is Trump 4.0, baby. New DLC just dropped and he can swear now.
Yeah.
But in other politics news, we have an update on Internet Today's U.S. Congressman of the Year that finally answers some very vexing questions that we've had lingering for months. The main question, whether George Anthony DeVolder Santos will be spending any time in prison. And that remains unanswered. But another question, just how exactly George Santos, in a matter of months, went from making $55,000 a year to having enough money to donate $500,000 to his own campaign. That one has apparently been answered. And the answer is, of course, very, very dumb.
So much dumber than anyone would have guessed, too. Mm-hmm. People were coming up with complex theories here, and the answer is, well, here you go. Here's the AP. Mm-hmm. The ex-treasurer for U.S. Representative George Santos pleaded guilty Thursday to a fraud conspiracy charge and implicated the indicted New York Republican in a scheme to embellish his campaign finance reports with a fake loan and fake donors. Nancy Marks, who was a close aide to Santos during his 2 congressional bids, entered the plea at a federal courthouse on Long Island, where she was a longtime political operative and bookkeeper for multiple candidates. Speaking to the judge, Marks briefly outlined a scam she said was intended to hoodwink Republican Party officials into throwing their support behind Santos, who at the time had lost an earlier race for Congress and was struggling to get financial support for a second run. To impress party leaders, she said, Santos submitted bogus campaign finance reports falsely saying he had loaned his campaign $500,000, even though in reality he didn't have that kind of money and the loan didn't exist. The fake loan made Santos look way richer than he really was and also helped him hit fundraising thresholds needed to qualify for backing from a national GOP committee.
So basically, in order to get a bunch of free campaign money from the Republican Party, you have to have already raised a bunch of money yourself. So the Santos campaign simply lied and said that they had done that, which is a violation of Federal Election Commission laws. Oops. On top of the fake $500,000 Santos claimed to have donated to his own campaign, Marks also admitted that she submitted FEC documents listing off other fake donations from multiple members of her own family and Santos's family.
Let's just implicate a bunch of other people in this scheme of ours.
As for how this might pertain to George Santos' own legal issues, Nancy Marks is facing between 3.5 and 4 years in prison for this alone, and that's with a plea deal. George Santos is facing 13 separate charges and has not pleaded guilty, or has pleaded not guilty, sorry. And the stuff that Nancy Marks is going away for isn't even part of the charges against Santos, at least not yet. Last we checked, there were rumors he was reconsidering his not guilty plea, which is probably the smart move, but we won't know more until he appears in court at the end of the month.
Yeah, I think it's probably safe to say he's looking at some very serious time.
Yeah, this goes in line with a great Long Island history of faking millions until you make millions, like the guy who purchased the National Hockey League team in Long Island, the New York Islanders.
Yeah, I haven't seen that episode of 30 for 30.
He bought an entire NHL team with $0.
Yeah. Well, a lot of
people loved him.
A lot of people will believe you if you tell them that you're good for it. Mm-hmm. It's especially like you can't go into 7-Eleven and say I'm good for it for like a fucking Snickers bar, but you can go to like
super nice, fancy.
The higher up in the social strata you go, the more people are willing to just be like, yeah, it seems like he's good for it. Here's an NHL hockey team. Enjoy.
Yeah. But let's move on to other politics news, and we apologize if all this politics is making you go insane, but hey, that's just what U.S. politics does to people these days. For example, here's some news out of Wisconsin, and we're just going to read the cops' bullet points description of the events because you don't even need to add any kind of narrative to this story.
All there.
It's all
there.
This
country is a parody country.
The best response to this I saw was, this entire thing is very Elmer Fudd coded.
Yes.
Shortly before 2 p.m. on Wednesday, October 4th, 2023, a shirtless male with a leashed dog and a handgun in a holster approached the security desk outside the governor's office inside the Wisconsin State Capitol building. The man said he would not leave until he saw the governor. Given that it is illegal to openly carry a firearm inside the Capitol building, Capitol police officers took the man into custody without incident. The subject was taken to Dane County Jail for the open carry of a firearm in a public building violation, and the firearm was seized as evidence. The dog was turned over to the City of Madison Animal Control. The man subsequently bailed himself out. At approximately 9 p.m. the same day, the man returned to the exterior of the Capitol with a loaded AK-47 style rifle and again asked to see the governor. Capitol Police and City of Madison Police Department officers began a dialogue with the person. A consent search of his backpack was conducted and revealed a collapsible police-style baton, which is illegal as the man did not have a valid concealed carry permit. Based on concerning statements made by the man, officers took him into custody shortly before midnight for a psychiatric evaluation. The rifle was seized by Capitol Police for safekeeping, and the baton was seized as evidence for the CCW charge, concealed carry.
Okay, so look, on a surface level, yeah, we got a guy showing up with a gun, demanding to see the governor, gets arrested, bails himself out, and comes back later the day.
Same day.
With an even bigger gun, demanding to see the governor. Literally a Looney Tunes thing. Rabbit season, duck season, bigger guns. But that's ridiculous enough. But looking at this from an actual legal perspective, it really solidifies it as the most American news story ever. For starters, he only got arrested that first time because he was openly carrying the gun. If the gun had been concealed, and he had had a concealed carry license, he would have been free to wander around inside the Capitol as he wished, demanding to see the governor to his heart's content.
Well, our hands are
That
tied.
would have been totally fine. The second time that he was arrested, it was not because he was open carrying an AK-47 outside the Capitol. That was totally fine. The problem was that he had a collapsible baton in his backpack without a permit. So, to summarize, walking around with a gun, multiple guns, not threatening, actually very legal, and very cool. Walking around with a stick in your backpack? You go straight to jail, you fucking psycho.
Not in this
What
country,
are you
pal.
doing?
Yeah.
He's got a stick.
But that's enough politics for now. Let's finally move on to the real issues. The animal kingdom is up to something, and has been for months. It started with orcas attacking yachts and has escalated across the animal kingdom, including 2 recent very bizarre incidents we should at least acknowledge, even though they are tragic and not the fun kind of animal news that we like to focus on. In Australia, a giant whale jumped out of the sea and landed on a fishing boat, killing a man on board. And in Canada, a couple and their dog were killed by a grizzly bear while camping.
I'd take the whale.
Yeah, I'm not going to riff on any of that because, again, very tragic.
I just did.
But getting killed by whales and grizzly bears are extremely rare occurrences. And it's weird that both things happen just days apart. But the world's a big place.
I mean, everyone's rightfully afraid of grizzly bears because they are terrifying, but they don't kill a whole lot of people. It's pretty rare that that happens. And then, yeah, a whale jumping out of the sea, and landing on you, that is just the most unlucky fucking thing that could possibly happen.
God really had it in for that guy.
He was looking for a fish, and
he got the whale.
But here's some animal news that we can riff on, at least for now, until it develops further, because there's some very sinister implications here. From Newsweek, female great hammerheads have been found to gather together in large numbers around the full moon. These sharks were found to cluster together in the tropical waters of French Polynesia during the southern hemisphere summer between December and March, with their numbers peaking when the moon was full. Strangely, no males seem to be invited to these gatherings, new research in the journal Frontiers in Marine Science reveals. The scientists recorded 55 of the critically endangered great hammerheads gathering at 2 Pacific atolls in the summers of 2020 and 2021, representing an unprecedented number of S. mocarin in one study, according to the paper.
This is especially weird because apparently great hammerheads are a very solitary species. They're also critically endangered, so there aren't very many of them. So why are dozens of them gathering in one place for a girls-only party under the full moon? Reading each other's tarot cards, doing all kinds of weird shit.
Burning sage.
Here's what the science says. This is theorized by the researchers to be because the brighter moonlight allows them to better hunt around the atolls, which are ring-shaped islands or coral reefs. The researchers also suggest that another reason for these gatherings may be responses to the changes in Earth's geomagnetic field with the changing phases of the moon, or in tandem with higher numbers of one of their prey species, the ocelate eagle ray.
Yeah, okay, CIA. What you saw was Venus reflected off swamp gas. No, I don't think so. I am not convinced by the official explanation.
They're just having girls' night, and that's what I choose to believe.
Yeah, we've got our own little theory here. It's much more simple. A group of exclusively women gathering under the full moon. That's witchcraft. These critically endangered hammerheads are resorting to the dark arts to protect their species from further harm. And good for them. We think that's beautiful.
Yep. They deserve their space.
Yeah. And good luck to anyone who thinks they can just burn these witch sharks at the stake. They live in the water. Your fire is useless against them, you idiot. What were you even thinking? And also, since they both sink and float, being creatures of the sea, it's impossible to tell which sharks are witches and which sharks are just normal sharks. Your tests are worthless in this scenario.
Do you think it has anything to do with all of the nuclear tests we did down there half a century ago?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, I think it's... Well, I mean, what we did was terrible, but I think in general, nuking the ocean is better than nuking land.
I don't know.
It dissipates more. When you nuke the land, like we talked about this recently, but yeah, atmospheric and ground tests of nuclear bombs has just poisoned all of the soil in Europe and the world. I'm sure it's not good for the ocean either, but there's a lot of water there.
Yeah, I think they do like scuba diving trips there now, so I think, over
I'm
the past
sure it's fine,
couple of decades, it's dissipated a bit.
It's more fucked up what the U.S. was just like, yeah, so does anyone actually live out there? And they're like, I don't know, probably not. Okay, yeah, a few people do, but like, I don't know, just fucking move them. Who cares?
Figure it out. There is a coven of sharks that appears when the moon gets full.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Nothing to worry about yet.
I love that it's a coven of hammerhead sharks, too. The weirdest looking sharks. Like, how do they end up like that?
They would be the goths of the shark world.
Yeah, I mean, the hammerhead, it's like, that's basically the glasses. The shark's wearing glasses. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what they're up to whenever they do eventually work their way towards more populated areas.
Yeah. I'd love to see a hammerhead. Not super up close, but...
From a distance.
From a distance. A safe distance.
But let's move on to a quick little news snippet about Elon Musk being
damn it.
a big fucking baby. Just a, I wet myself, I'm Elon
big
Musk.
poopy diaper baby.
We have referenced the Twitter account JUNlPER many times on this show over the years. She's responsible for many of our favorite posts, often involving intentionally spreading disinformation online, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
She's personally responsible for coining the term goblin mode via a fake news story screenshot, as well as the viral hoax about Snickers going woke and removing the beloved chocolate dick vein. One of the greatest posters ever.
Yeah, a consistently great post.
June does great work on twitter.com. Recently, though, she, like many others, decided to do a little bit of topical trolling by abusing Elon Musk's baffling decision to remove the headline text from news story links, leaving only a context-free thumbnail image.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier this week, but basically, without headline text, you can tweet out a link to any news story and just kind of add whatever commentary you want, and there is no way of knowing if your commentary has any relevance to the actual news story unless you click the thumbnail image and read the story for yourself, which, as has been known since the dawn of social media, no one fucking does that. As soon as the change was announced, people correctly pointed out that this had tremendous potential for spreading disinformation, since most people don't actually click on news links. They simply read the headlines, which are no longer there, but it still says link to CNN.com or whatever, and so, yeah, it's not good. So people started going out of their way to intentionally spread disinformation to demonstrate how stupid this change is.
A little bit of satire for the timeline.
Many of these troll posts were, of course, about Elon Musk himself, such as posts claiming that he had died. But JUNlPER flew a little too close to the sun with a link to a Fortune article and the caption, "New scoop. Evidence showing Elon Musk is a pedophile mounting quickly."
This post and the tremendous amount of engagement it received appears to have resulted in JUNlPER being banned. And there's evidence that suggests the decision came from Elon Musk himself, who responded to a tweet about it before the ban. Hours later, JUNlPER's second backup account was also banned. Then JUNlPER's main was reinstated briefly before being banned again. Assuming this decision did in fact come directly from Elon, and that's what we choose to believe, Elon Musk banned a popular account for baselessly calling someone a pedophile. And this is a bit odd, considering he regularly interacts with right-wing accounts that seem to exist solely to accuse people of being groomers. But it's even odder when you remember that Elon Musk literally got sued for accusing someone of being a pedophile on Twitter and successfully argued that it wasn't a big deal because he was just joking, even though he definitely wasn't. He also apparently just got around to finally deleting those posts more than 5 years later, conveniently right as people started pointing out how hypocritical this specifically is. And just days after a lawsuit was filed against him
for defamation.
For defamation, for wrongly accusing someone of being either a Nazi or a CIA plant.
Yeah. And it's like, and also the way JUNlPER did the post, it was like, it wasn't even high effort. It was like, you'd have to be a complete fucking moron to like think it was a serious post.
Mm-hmm.
Like, other people were doing it in a way where I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty skillful disinformation. JUNlPER's post was not that. It was literally just making a joke.
And it was amongst many other posts that were happening at the time that she herself was doing.
Very, very interesting. It's also like the person Elon replied to who was talking about it is like literally the Libs of TikTok account. Mm-hmm. One of probably the number one account for just baselessly accusing random people of being pedophiles.
And potentially directing and inciting violence against specifically targeted.
I think someone added it up recently. It was dozens of bomb threats and other times that like schools had to like shut down.
I can't remember which outlet it was. It might have been NBC News, but someone contacted all of the places that were targeted by Libs of TikTok, and a overwhelming majority said that they did receive credible threats.
Yeah.
Or wouldn't return calls because they were so scared that someone from the internet, like that it was someone pretending to be a news outlet.
So this lady is like very credibly like putting people's lives at risk, and she's fine. And then there was that thing like a couple months back where one of the right wingers that Elon follows literally posted CP on the timeline.
He reinstated the account
with his own watermark on it, and Elon brought him back within a day because I guess that wasn't just a obvious violation of the rules. I don't know.
Very confusing.
Anyway, JUNlPER seems to be sort of back, but this is just another...
Follow her podcast, Western Kabuki.
Yeah, I'm excited. They're going to obviously talk about this in the next episode, so I'm excited to.
And that account,
excited to hear about
the
it.
podcast is great. The account is now, at least as more accounts get banned, saying which ones are actually Jews.
Yeah, I think there is one that's actually JUNlPER's, but there's also been a really great like I am Spartacus sort of thing happening where like dozens of other accounts have also pretended to be her new account so that the censors at Twitter don't know who to ban.
Yeah.
They've got to ban them all,
Very
I guess.
confusing.
Anyways, Elon Musk sucks. He's a fucking dweeb.
He's a loser who's ruining, just throwing money away, burning it.
He is jealous that someone else is better at posting than him and isn't even. But someone who isn't even rich gets better engagement on their posts than he does. Mm-hmm. Loser.
Yeah.
But before we move on to the headlines half of today's show, it is time to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Bespoke Post. No matter where your adventures take you this fall, Bespoke Post has a box of awesome to make it just that, more awesome. The box of awesome is filled with carefully chosen gear from the best small brands around the world. Let's see what I got this month. Ooh! I got a cold brew coffee maker and some aromatic bitters and a little desk set for all my many, many pens. Mm-hmm. No more pens strewn across the desk. They are all in one place now, within reach. It's the concentrate box. And yeah, this job, it definitely requires some degree of concentration. So thank you, Bespoke Post.
Mm-hmm. From camping gear essentials to autumn cocktail upgrades and cozy threads, Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. To get started, take the quiz at boxofawesome.com. Your answers will help them pick the right Box of Awesome for you. They release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories. Each box is valued at around $70, but you only pay a fraction of that price. Plus, with each Box of Awesome, you're supporting small businesses. 90% of everything that comes in your Box of Awesome is from a small up-and-coming brand. It's free to sign up, and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. Get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code WEIRD at checkout. That is boxofawesome.com, code WEIRD, for 20% off your first box. Boxofawesome.com, code WEIRD.
And this episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. This country's healthcare system, it's certainly got some issues, one of which is that even if you are fully insured, actually finding a doctor who takes your insurance and is available to see you can be a very annoying, time-consuming, and antiquated process. And the longer it takes to find a doctor, the more likely you are to fall down some sort of internet rabbit hole of potentially questionable medical advice. And then even when you find a doctor, it's hard to know beforehand whether they are actually the right doctor for you.
Well, ZocDoc makes this whole process a whole lot easier. You just fill in what you need, where you live, what your availability is, and what insurance you have, and ZocDoc pulls up a list of doctors along with their availability, plus loads of user reviews to help you find the care you need and book it with the tap of your finger. ZocDoc is a free app where you can find amazing doctors and book appointments online. We're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat almost any condition that you're searching for.
These docs all have verified reviews from actual real patients, not bots. The average wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 to 48 hours. That's it. You can even score same-day appointments. Once you find the doc you want, you can book them immediately with just a few app taps. No more waiting awkwardly on hold with a receptionist. This is definitely, absolutely something that would have come in very handy for both of us many, many, many times over the years, but it's finally here. So go to ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That is ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird. ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird.
All right, it's time for the craziest, weirdest, wildest headlines from around the world. Starting this week with, man crashes vehicle into police station while blasting Guns N' Roses, police say. Police started by saying, he came in blasting. And everyone's like, wait, what? Well, he was blasting music.
I thought this was America. He was playing Welcome to the Jungle, just to be clear.
Yeah, and the video is even
He wasn't
better
playing a Sweet Child of Mine. He was playing Welcome to the Jungle.
The video of it is so much better than just the headline.
There's no audio, though, but you can add it in your head.
There's no audio, but he gets out of the car and is like, woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, that's a real American right there.
He is a real American.
He's braver than the police.
Yeah, the police wouldn't crash into a police station. And
the police would have had a panic attack and said, oh no, I breathed in fentanyl.
Guns N' Roses is musical fentanyl.
Yeah.
Especially that...
I don't know if I'd say that. Musical fentanyl would be like Norah Jones.
Yeah, well, they got that November Rain song.
Oh yeah, not a fan. And I don't really think, I'm not a fan of any of their music, if I'm being honest.
I saw them live once. It was fine.
Yeah, I mean,
They're playing literally like right now.
I respect their
in India.
I respect their musical abilities, and I like Axl Rose as a person. He's a fascinating figure who, on the regular basis, spouts opinions that are actually surprisingly good. But as a band, just no, not that into it. Sorry.
There was a image going around recently of someone posted, this guy just came in and tipped like $200. Amazing. And everyone's like, is that Slash?
Oh yeah,
yes, it was Slash.
Yeah.
Everyone's just like, that is Slash there. But that other people were commenting like, it's amazing to have that level of fame and wealth, and all you have to do is take your top hat off.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, who is that guy?
That is the smart thing about having your whole image tied to a weird piece of clothing.
Yes. And people have remarked on this over the past couple of weeks as well, that the formerly unbelievable trope of simply putting on glasses or a mustache and hiding your identity.
They think fucking John Fetterman's a clone, and every time he changes his appearance slightly.
They're proving all of those old movie tropes right. Literally, if you just put on a mustache or glasses, everyone is just completely blind to who you actually are.
I mean, I think a significant portion of the country, like 1/3, is certifiably face blind.
Yeah, probably.
That is a real condition, and I think a lot more people have it than we realize.
Could be.
Next headline, Qatar Airways executive says invasive gynecological examinations of passengers won't be repeated.
Oh, okay, cool.
Our bad.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to. Yeah, the story behind this is wild, and also, they found a newborn baby in a trash can at the airport in Qatar, and obviously very shocking scene. But they got the bright idea, like, we need to find whoever dumped this baby. So all the women line up. We're just gonna have a look down there, see if anyone looks like they recently gave birth. And none of the women they examined fit the bill. They're like, all right, you're good to go. Our bad. But then, lawsuits, controversy.
All right, our bad.
Yeah, I feel like there was.
We gotta fool me once.
And as much as I looked into this, I don't think they ever actually found the actual child's mother. So there's quite a bit of mystery there. I mean, obviously, dumping a baby in the trash, not good. Tragic. doesn't give you license to start doing gynecological examinations on any woman around you.
No. But let's move on to the next headline. Costco says its 1-ounce gold bars are real and have been selling out in hours.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't sell them at the retail locations. You got to buy them online. It's bullshit.
Stupid.
They need to have gold bars on the shelves at Costco.
Yeah, how else are you going to flex? You need to buy it and be like, hey, everyone around me, anyone notice I'm buying a gold bar here?
Or actually, I mean, obviously they can't put it on the shelf because a 1-ounce gold bar is like smaller than a credit card.
They have those cards that they put down.
It's $2,000. I know Costco doesn't have the like behind the shelf thing that most places do, but they need to put those back there and have it. You know, when you're a kid, it's like, some Magnum condoms, please. But as an adult, now you get the gold bar. Like, oh yeah, put a gold bar down. I forgot. I need to pick up some gold bars.
Crazy news, but these are all going to one mansion in New Jersey, owned by a guy named Bob Menendez.
Yeah.
And I forgot to cover it in News Dump, but the big twist in that story was that one of the gifts that his family received through all of this corruption was that his wife got a brand new Mercedes because she had totaled her previous car hitting and killing someone. Well,
yeah, you're going to need a new car. Thank God Egypt was there to...
I think you're pulling the wrong thing out of this.
Thank God. I wish we all need an Egypt in our lives to get us a new car anytime we commit vehicular manslaughter. Mm-hmm.
Just an interesting little twist.
Probably going to be a lot more to come out of the Bob Menendez saga. Very interesting saga.
But Costco's making it possible for everyone everywhere to have gold bars in their jackets in their closet.
Now, Egypt, when they want to bribe an American politician, they don't have to send the gold bars all the way halfway around the world. They can just go on Costco.com and just have it shipped over to wherever they're trying to send it.
Or if you want to launder even further, get them some Costco gift cards.
Yeah. And they can get as much gold as they want with those gift cards.
And a multiple day pass to Disneyland for a decent discount.
Yeah.
Or at least you used to be able to.
Can't get into Club 33, though.
Nope.
Sorry.
No, that's when you have to use the gold bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida man, 74, attacked by rabid otter while feeding ducks.
It's fucked up that those ducks that he was feeding didn't step in to help him out.
Yeah.
They took the food and they're like, all right, bye. This is your problem to deal with.
Or while the otter was attacking them, they took the rest of the food.
Yeah. But a lot of, weirdly, just a lot of otter news in the past couple months. We never talked about otters before.
It's that nationwide text. Everyone thought it was going to affect humans, but it actually affected the animals.
Yeah, it activated the sleeper cells of otters. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, like...
another thing we didn't cover, and it's another tragedy and horrific, but I guess we should bring it up because it's animal news, is that woman who got eaten by an alligator.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Where?
In Florida, in Largo,
Jesus
Florida.
Christ.
And it was dragging her torso around the city.
What?
Someone filmed it. They're like, what's in that alligator's
mouth? What the fuck?
Yeah, you didn't hear about... Oh, you were like in fugue state. So...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, horrific.
I was hanging out with alligators recently in Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Oh, it's so cool. All right. So we went out on an airboat, which...
They're very cool.
Airboats are fucking awesome, especially when they kick it into high gear. Everyone had to wear these like industrial... Because it was loud as shit. But our airboat captain... A real fucking Cajun. I've never met a real Cajun in my life. And this guy's like, I've been living here on this bayou for my whole life, 7 generations, leading back to the 1870s. My main job is I fish for shrimp.
Yeah.
Shrimp.
Did he?
He was throwing little marshmallows and like, I completely changed my perspective on alligators. R.I.P. to that lady, but they're very cute animals.
Yeah.
They're like little dogs. Most of the ones we saw were like only like this big. We did see a couple big boys, but yeah, you're just throwing treats in there, and they come up and like they're like chomp, munch, 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 and
probably not the best for the habitat, but
honestly, this airboat guy was actually pretty interesting because he described what he described the situation down there is that it doesn't sound like marshmallows are really making much of a dent. The big problem is that like They have so many fucking hurricanes that the water's salinity has gone up so much that it's killing all of the plants and also reducing the gator population.
Yeah, it's pushing the storm surges into the, where the rivers let out into the ocean.
And also, like, everyone who lives there is getting forced to move because, like, their homes keep getting fucking destroyed.
Yes.
It's like just an entire economy of fishermen and swamp people that are just being driven out of existence because of climate change.
We hear the sirens too, everyone, but we're just going to power through.
It was really cool. He even passed around a little baby crocodile. Okay. Adorable.
Yeah.
They're great animals. Except when they kill people.
Yes. Yes. Well, anyways, hopefully everyone starts to respect animals, give them the space that they need.
That's the biggest problem. Everyone would be better off if we just respected animals more.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really count on not getting crushed by a whale.
Yeah, that's just freak accident.
There are ways to not get eaten by grizzlies, and that is to absolutely have zero food anywhere near you.
They unloaded they emptied out a can of bear spray on this bear.
And it still kept going?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yes, this bear was determined. It's also like, if you're trying to avoid getting eaten by a bear, this is the one time of year you should absolutely not go fucking camping anywhere near bears because it's Fat Bear Week. They're
it's like their purge.
Well, they're getting desperate. They're bulking up right now. Yeah. And the ones that haven't managed to bulk up are the ones that are like venturing into civilization and doing risky behavior that they wouldn't normally do. Mm-hmm. It's also why Timothy Treadwell was eaten by that bear. It was I think it was the same time of year. It was,
Watch Grizzly Man.
Grizzly Man. It's a fascinating documentary.
By
Werner
Herzog. Charges filed against DoorDash driver who allegedly followed GPS into body of water in Middleton. Literally, Michael Scott.
It says turn left. Yeah. This person was watching their GPS and not the road and just drove into a lake.
That's how I play video games. I watch the mini-map while I'm driving. Yeah. I do not pay attention to the roads.
Yeah.
This guy did it in real life.
Yeah, pretty wild. I'm not sure what they're being charged with. Probably whatever laws there are against inserting a car into a body of water.
You dumbass.
I did like the article they clarified they're like the driver did escape with the DoorDash order.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. They got out with the order, so don't worry.
Well, I hope the person tipped well. Or not, because this person brought it upon themselves.
Yeah. Why
are my fries
does
soggy?
It smell like swamp?
It took a little detour to get here.
Canadian man eats 135 Carolina Reaper peppers in one sitting.
I'm more interested to watch him pass those peppers.
That's you. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Peter Parker passed a couple prickly peppers.
I feel like that toilet is gonna be being within a mile radius is like gonna burn your eyes just being around it.
Yeah, that's toxic.
Also, this guy was trying to break a record and did. The record was just 50 Carolina Reaper peppers in 5 minutes. Broke that record, obviously, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna keep going. 135 Carolina Reaper peppers. Like, some people just fucking build different. Remember, we got sponsored, this was years ago, we got sponsored by a jerky company. They sent us all their flavors. Yeah. And they had a Carolina Reaper flavor that is not even the pepper itself. It was just Carolina Reapers were used to flavor this jerky. It was the spiciest fucking thing I've ever had in my life. It ruined my entire day.
We got the bomb sauce over there, the stuff from, whatchamacallit, the Wings Challenge.
Yeah. There is I like spicy food. There's a point where it's just about, pride. You're not enjoying this anymore. You are inflicting pain on yourself.
I love spicy food.
And it would be bad enough if it was just, momentary pain, but, you feel that thing, it's like a foreign body moving through you, burning all the way through.
Yeah. Have you ever done the top level of Howlin' Rays or anything like that?
No,
Dave's Hot Chicken?
It just feels wasteful. You're reaching a point where it's not about the food anymore. I find that's silly.
I always do
I'm trying to eat to taste food that I like.
I always do the extreme stuff once just to be like, yeah, I already did it. Now I never have to. So if someone's like, do the hot ones that I'm with, I've already done it.
I don't need to do that anymore. It's mostly, anything that's spicy, is going to be worse on my stomach than it is on my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I have to be careful, even stuff that I totally like eating. Like, I can't eat jalapenos anymore. For some reason, specifically jalapenos, even if they don't even, like, taste that spicy, they fuck up
I used to eat those, like, right out of the bag.
Yeah, they fuck me up, my stomach. Like,
you have to probably build a tolerance. I don't know.
no, I think it's just whatever the chemical balance of my digestive system just does not like that specific type of capsicum or whatever the fuck it is.
Come.
Villages man, 77, faces hard time for stockpile of illegal ED drugs in retirement community, according to the feds. Hard time. And this is another documentary shout out. Documentary, Some Kind of Heaven. This man is a character, one of the main characters in that
Is he the one that lives in the van?
No. This is the one who was like totally normal until him and his wife moved to the villages, and then he had like basically a late life crisis and just started doing drugs 24/7 and just like driving his golf cart around while like high on acid. And then like in the movie, spoiler alert, like he gets pulled over and caught with like just a shitload of drugs in Florida, where they're not very forward thinking with this shit. He was facing like years in prison, and
the villages are like a sovereign state.
Yeah, well, he did manage to plead out, but I guess he's been running a fucking like Viagra trafficking operation in the villages and probably being quite successful at it.
I'm sure.
Also, a great book about the villages is a book called Leisureville. I read that earlier this year, and it's another one. Yeah, they're all fucking and sucking.
That's why they just
gross.
premiered that Golden Bachelor with the old people.
Oof, yeah.
And I was like, if this was a real reality show, there wouldn't be a whittling down of any of the participants. They would all be fucking and sucking the entire time.
They, based on the Villages book I read, like, horny old people, they have just they don't have time for, like, the bullshit. They get right to the fucking
There's more
point.
STDs in a retirement home than at the club.
Yeah.
That's your prize for making it that long.
And you have this man to thank. Him getting arrested has probably brought down, like,
oh my God,
the whole village is like, there's people like have in hushed tones being like, fuck, do you have a plug? I've been seeing this girl. She thinks I can go all night. She doesn't know I've been juicing. It's gonna ruin my fucking life.
Someone call Matt Gates. We need to get Matt Gates over here.
Yeah.
Man steals car with toddler in backseat, robs bank, hits tree and dies from injuries, police say.
Hell of a day. How was your day?
Busy.
I guess the kid was okay.
Good. That's the one thing I was worried about in all of this.
Yeah, real crazy couple hours there. If you're gonna, like, it's wild, because he stole the car, and obviously the mother was, like, not far away, and so immediately it was, like, a fucking Amber Alert.
Yeah.
It's crazy to do that, and then rob a bank.
Well, it's the last place the police would look.
I guess.
They'll never look for an Amber Alert car at the bank while it's being robbed.
Life hack. You want to rob a bank when the heat is at the highest possible it can be. Mm-hmm. You want to lay high.
Yes.
Because they'll never, someone kidnapped a baby. Oh, they're going to go rob a bank? No, that'd be insane.
Only a crazy person would do that.
New Jersey GOP candidate who smeared poop on daycare blames Obama.
Smeared poop on a daycare?
Yeah. This guy...
Like on the walls or something?
On, like, all over the door and the door handles. I guess he ran a business next to the daycare, and he didn't like that they kept calling the cops on, like, his company's cars parked in, like, illegal spots. So he smeared shit, I assume his own shit, all over the daycare. And then when he got caught... I guess this happened back in, like, 2009, 2010. When he got caught, he's like... Or no, he didn't... No, he used the Obama excuse recently. Because I get... This guy is not going to win. Well, actually, who the fuck knows? He has, like, a long rap sheet of just, like, every crime imaginable.
Every New Jersey politician, like Bob Menendez.
But yeah, he was asked about this specifically recently, and he's like, listen, I was young, I was stupid. Also, you have to remember, Obama had just been elected. And also, they're like, wait.
He was high on hopium.
Yeah, they're like, sir, you are, like, in your 50s, so you would have been in your mid-30s when that happened. What do you mean you were young?
Hey, come on.
I guess he was young.
Hey, come on!
Who hasn't done a little something crazy at age 36?
Hey, we're all still young, right? Everyone in their 30s is still young, right? And let's get out ahead of things. People in their 40s, very young as well.
It's true.
We'll both be in there sooner rather than later.
The villages in their 70s, young at heart.
Yeah, well, especially when you compare them to someone like someone who's 80, 90 years old.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
California deputy found carrying over 100 pounds of fentanyl in car. How is that possible?
He must have died like a billion times.
Uh-huh.
That's wild. How did he do that?
Crazy.
How was he able to be around that much fentanyl and not just like melt?
A mystery.
Vaporize. Yeah, this guy, Riverside County Sheriff's Department, literally working for the cartels, like directly doing the trafficking as a cop.
Yeah.
And yeah, trafficking a substance that for some reason every other police officer in this country just instantly dies just being in the presence of it. Even the tiniest amount, even a speck of it. Even looking at it. Poof. But this guy, I don't know what he did. How did he do it?
No idea.
Could it be that fentanyl, while dangerous, is a medical substance like any other, and when properly handled, is not a danger to anyone, and is also a drug that people every day, thousands, millions of people take it for medical
actual
uses.
reasons? Yeah. Doctors handling it, nurses handling it.
Also, the most fucked up little detail of this is the fentanyl that he was importing was pressed pills made to look like real oxycodone pills, but it was fentanyl. So
That's
literally
a lot of fentanyl.
The exact scenario of why fentanyl fucking kills people in most cases, which is they don't know they're doing fucking fentanyl.
No, it's mixed in either intentionally or in most cases mistakenly because of just cross-contamination.
Yeah. No, this is literally he was importing pills for people who probably had like a fucking back injury at work and got addicted to the oxy that the doctor gave them and are now resorting to black market oxy and don't know they're buying fentanyl and fucking die because of it.
I would prefer if you read the book Dope Sick, but the TV show is also quite informative.
I need to do both.
It's got Michael Keaton in it.
Love the Keat man. And final headline, 10-year-old boy takes control of Bobcat construction vehicle in Pittsburgh, damages multiple cars.
He
Fucking
is living
king.
the dream.
I like, this is one of my biggest like bucket list things. Like, I've never operated heavy equipment.
They do it in Vegas now, I think. There's a couple places where they have construction equipment playgrounds.
I'm more interested in that than the other place in Vegas that lets you fire a machine gun. Like, it's bullshit that you need a fucking license to operate.
In some cases you don't. You can go down to a couple of equipment rental places and kind of just do whatever you want.
I gotta look into that. But yeah, this kid living the dream. Good for him.
Yeah, I don't...
You know, insurance can replace all the things this child destroyed on his rampage, but the memories that he made while living like the king he knows he is, those are irreplaceable.
And you get a free pass. I mean, you're 10 years old.
Yeah. If you're a kid doing crimes, this is probably the coolest crime you can commit.
Yes. As long as you don't hurt anybody.
Right.
And just property, it's kind of a cool crime.
And like most of the like he damaged a bunch of houses, but like no one was even living in them. It was a construction site. He's actually creating jobs for the construction company who now has to fix all the shit he fucked up.
Sure.
So I think this kid's pretty cool. Also,
can't wait to see what he does in 20 or 30 years.
Also, it's kind of the construction workers' fault for not locking up their shit.
Yeah, if a 10-year-old is able to get in and start going nuts with your equipment.
Like, every construction site I've seen, they like attach everything to a fucking chain attached to a crane.
And they hoist it up so they
like
can't use it.
50 feet in the air. Because they know people steal shit from construction sites.
I just had a memory. It's like, yeah, we used to do that. When we were kids, we never drove them around, but we'd start them up. I think especially back then, I don't know if there were any security kind of things built into it, because back then it's just like, well, who in their right mind would do
leave
that?
The fucking keys in there.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully someday I'll have the pleasure. For now,
you can pay for that pleasure. I'm telling you.
For now, I'm just going to be jealous of a 10-year-old.
I think Vegas has one, and I know there's like one in like Tennessee or Texas, but there's like gigantic, like you can go get in the thing and scoop the dirt.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
I want to control the hydraulics, move the tracks.
You could just get a job at the dump or something.
No, I don't want to do that. I want to dig.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to dig through trash. I want to dig the earth.
You're burying the trash. Yeah. Anyways, that's it for today's episode. It was a long one, but thanks for sticking with us, and thanks for welcoming us back all week long. What a wonderful way to have us rejoin the population of content creators out there on YouTube. If you want
us to be back.
If you want us to beat all of them in every conceivable ranking, make sure you hit the like button, Make sure you either leave a comment or reply to a comment. Do whatever you want, but make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you feel like it, you can hit the join button. And then when you leave a comment, everybody knows that you're supporting the show because you get the metal hands.
You get to virtue signal in a good way.
If you missed it for some reason, we got 2 banger episodes for you. We got Kevin McCarthy.
He's gone.
Breaking some American records. And we also have Mike Lindell, who is officially flat broke.
You'll love to see it.
Check those out, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.